These Nintendo re-releases of their old Famicom cartridge games to the Disk System have brought us some real treats lately. Great refreshes of classic games. And here's Wrecking Crew, an early puzzle game. And for this version, released to the Disk Rewriter kiosk, Nintendo made some changes. Did you see it? Hang on, I'll zoom in. There you go, that's what they changed. Okay, I'm being a little bit unfair there, because there is one significant change beyond the title screen date, but it'll take me a while to get to it. In Wrecking Crew, you're playing as Mario, a construction worker who, now that the worksite has been cleared of gorillas, finds new work tearing down walls. You can hit the A button to swing Mario's hammer, and the hammer will hit whatever Mario is standing in front of. And by in front of, I mean literally in front of, not just off to the side. There are 3 styles of walls that have to be destroyed. The metal wall, which is the easiest and takes 1 hit, a light stone wall that takes 2, and a dark stone wall that takes 3 hits. There are also metal ladders that go up and down. If you smash all of those on a stage, then you advance to the next one. And there are 100 stages like this to clear. Besides the necessary walls, Mario's hammer can also take out pillars, which will make the objects that they're holding up fall down, and bombs, which set off a chain reaction of destruction to any consecutive objects in that row. Of course, it wouldn't be a puzzle game if all you had to do was walk up to a wall and hit it, so there's also monsters that run around, robots that will always make a turn, and critters that pursue Mario more directly. There aren't a lot of ways to permanently stop these. You could drop a barrel on them if there's a barrel supported by a pillar, or they could run into the background if there's doors that open, and then you can trap them inside, safely out of the way. But for the most part, you just have to keep avoiding them until you finish clearing the stage. The more annoying enemy that you'll have to deal with is Blackie, a rival construction worker who definitely is not Wario. Blackie will go directly after Mario, and then try to smash the same things that Mario is smashing. Whoever lands the final blow on the destructible object gets to stay there, while the other blue-collar employee tumbles all the way to the ground. This becomes a real danger as the game progresses, because as soon as you're past the introductory stages, you'll discover that the real challenge is in not destroying the paths that you need until you've cleared the accessible walls there. Dropping down or smashing a metal ladder could put the stage in an unwinnable state for you. If that does happen, you can stand around and wait for a fireball to show up and burn you, or you can hit the select button, which will just reset the game. One convenient thing in Wrecking Crew is that you can start from any of the 100 stages that you like. On the title screen, just hit the A and B button to cycle through the levels. An important thing to keep in mind for solving every stage is that you can run off the side of the screen and emerge on the far side. It's often the only way to navigate a level. There are some hidden items to collect, and most of these are just points. You find hidden items by smashing 3 bombs on a single stage. Which item appears depends on the stage number and the number of times that you've swung your hammer. And if the sum of those, modulo 8, is equal to 1, then you'll uncover the only collectible power-up in the game, a golden hammer. The golden hammer is much faster than your regular hammer, and if you keep mashing that swing button as you walk off an edge, Mario will float in the air. There are a few stages late in the game that are next to impossible unless you manage to collect the golden hammer and bring it forward. You keep that golden hammer until you die, so you could carry it all the way to the end. If you clear the 100th stage, then the game just loops back to stage 1. There's no real ending here. Every 5 levels, there's a bonus stage where a coin is hidden behind a section of the wall, and you're racing with Blackie to smash those walls and find that coin. If Blackie finds it first, then you don't get any bonus at all. There's one more rather odd piece of trivia about Blackie, and this is new information since I recorded the episode on the original Famicom Wrecking Crew back in 2021. Blackie is no longer called Blackie. As of 2023, according to Nintendo, he is now Foreman Spike. That was the name used in the manual for the US version of Wrecking Crew, and no one seems to be 100% sure why Nintendo decided that in 2023 They absolutely had to change the name. The best theory I've seen is that it's another case of Nintendo trying to bring their properties into global synergy. Use the same name for the characters everywhere, and Spike just works better for this character. These re-releases Nintendo has been putting out for the Disk System have incorporated features from the arcade Versus system versions of these games. And Versus Wrecking Crew introduced a two-player mode where both players had their own view of the screen and could essentially act as Blackie for the other player. There's a two-player mode here, but it's the same as the original. And while the second player is called Luigi, he's still wearing red. A very slightly different shade of red, but you really have to look close to tell the difference. The actual change that you'll find on this disc is in the edit mode. Now there's 4 stages that you can edit and string together as a small campaign. All of these start out empty though, so if you accidentally choose to play them before you create anything, then the game gets stuck in an eternal loop, as an empty stage is a cleared stage. The editor is pretty functional. You hit B to rotate through the objects that you're in a place, and hit A to drop it. Wrecking Crew is pretty well remembered as a puzzle game in Japan, though the Disk System version is barely a footnote. There's just not enough significant difference for people to pay attention to it. My feeling is Wrecking Crew is a pretty good game, but there's no reason to not just play the cartridge version. At least the Disk System version doesn't have loading times past the initial startup. So if you do want to play the Disk System version, you're getting pretty much the same experience.